our athleticism. I think we've got some very versatile players. I like what they bring to the table. I think one of the newcomers that I think our fans are going to be hugely impressed with is Halee. She's a very versatile point guard. She can score, she can pass well, she plays great defense. I also like Halee. She's a good three-point shooter, but she's very good off the dribble as well. Belle, she's been here for 4 years. You know, she knows our system. She knows the culture of our program. Halee Nieman obviously was an all-conference player last year, so we expect her to kind of step right in that same role. Tony Brewer, who's back from a year ago. She was named an All-American and was out last season, and now she's back, and we're just super excited to have her. You know, I think this team is going to play really hard. Got some good experience, but we are super young, so I think early you're going to see some ups and downs. If we can kind of bounce through those hard times, I think the sky's the limit for this team.
All right, that said it all. It's funny. I feel this season it's a little premature for me to speak about our team because we have 8 new players on our team, with 7 of those being freshmen in our program. And so day to day, it's different. In practice, we're working hard as far as developing skill, developing our defensive mindset, which what we play defensively is very different from what most players have played at other places. So we've got to kind of change that thinking and changing their positioning on defense. But right now we're inconsistent. I would say that's where we are. With 2 weeks into practice, we're just inconsistent, and that goes from our youth. But we do have a great core of returning players. Like the video said, I mean, we're super excited to have Tony Brewer back on the court for us. She was an All-American during our run to the Elite Eight, and she brings just a phenomenal presence in the paint. She has extended her game and is able to shoot very well from the perimeter now. She's a great rebounder. She's on track. If she gets enough games under her belt this season and can stay healthy, she's on track to break our school's rebounding record that was just broken a year ago with Katie Bobus when she graduated. So that's the type of player Tony Brewer is for us and is bringing to the table. Of course, you have Halee Nieman as well in that core of returning players who did a phenomenal job last season for us. She was named All-Conference. She really took the team on her shoulders last season, and this year she's capable of doing that, but I don't think she's going to have to do that as often because she's got some other players around her that can really step up and play some great basketball. Belle Bistrow is back. You saw Belle last year. I thought she played one of her best seasons for us last year, and now is back on the court her senior year and is really dedicated to knocking down outside shots and being that perimeter scorer that we need to. Last year, she was more of our defensive stopper on the perimeter. Her big focus was being on the court defensively, and she got the hard assignments last year. She had to guard everyone's toughest perimeter player. And this year, you know, she obviously is going to bring that again, but she has upped her offensive game, and we see her scoring a lot more. We see her confidence in her shooting has gone up, and we're super excited about having that. I thought last year that was one thing that we really needed more of was some perimeter scoring, and I think we filled those gaps with our current players that we have. I think this is going to be a good year for us. Although we're young, sometimes young and dumb is a good thing. They don't know what to expect. We have a very tough schedule. We're playing some of the top teams in our region early and in regions around us. So we're going to play some teams that are preseason ranked number 1 in their conference, and we're going to get challenged fairly early, which is great. But obviously, as we move into GSC play, it's going to be a great year for GSC basketball again. We have got some super phenomenal players in our league this year. We have some amazing coaches that are in the GSC. It is a dogfight game in and game out when we get to conference play. And but that's why we're here. I love that atmosphere as a coach. I think our players love that atmosphere, and they're ready to step up for the challenge. The best thing I could say about this team right now is that in practice, when we've given them challenges or we've given them a focus, they can do it, and they can do it well. Now, part of being young is remembering that focus doesn't go away 3 plays later in practice, that we've got to continue that same focus and keep that, whether it's, our screen action, whether it's making great passes, whether it's boxing out every time, that we get to the point where we don't have to be reminded every possession that we have to do those little things, but making sure that those little things get done without being reminded. I thought we had a great summer this year. Coming into this season, I spent the summer with our 5 returning players, and we talked about leadership and developing our leadership and how they want to approach this season, and knowing this season would be a lot different from last season, that they would have some newer players that are brand new to college, and understanding that freshman year in college is one of the toughest and the most transformable of any year that you're in college. And so we have a team that we have the 5 returners that can really set the standard for where this young group is going to go in their future here at UWF, but also where we can go by the end of the season.
Stephanie, you said Halee, and I'll probably ask you to address this as well, Halee, but you said that Halee doesn't have as much on her shoulders, but with a team that has a lot more new faces, so either you're new faces who you're expecting a lot from, and that seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, well, we brought in a transfer point guard who played with Halee at Saginaw Valley when Halee was there, and so Anna Hall, we think she's going to be able to step in and be our starting point guard. We also have a freshman that's going to back her up that is tremendously gifted, but again, she's a freshman. She's got to kind of learn that college is a little bit different from high school, but she's super fast. She can score from the perimeter. She's got a great vision in transition as far as passing, and man, she can play defense. And so I feel like that's one of the positions we really struggled with last season, and so I think we've got that answered this year at our point guard position. Of course, we've got Belle on the perimeter. We've got Fanny Halme, who is a freshman from Finland, but Fanny, oh my goodness, I think she's going to be a front runner for newcomer of the year in our conference. She is tough, she's gritty, she's strong, she can shoot the 3, she's great off the dribble. She's got one of the best pull-up jumpers that I've seen in women's basketball in a while, but she's good. She's really good. And so I think with that addition, and also with the addition of Tony Brewer being back on the court, that helps Halee. She's got some people around her that can score. I failed to mention that we're probably the biggest we've been since I've been here at UWF. We have 3 players on our roster that are 6'3". So inside, you're going to see some bigger play from us, and we're going to have to play a little bit differently when those big bodies are on the court. But man, they can get it done inside. They're playing really great defensively. They're scoring offensively right now, and so I'm interested to kind of see how they come along as we continue to develop those big kids. It takes a little time in basketball for those big girls to kind of develop. In high school, usually they're not getting that kind of advanced coaching, and so our big girls, they tell us every day, man, this is something new, coach. This is another new concept. It's something new for me. And so they're learning, they're grasping those new concepts, but I think they're going to be really good for us.
Halee, how is it different for you? How does it feel different for you, whether it's a role or responsibility or the team around you or whatever?
I think that responsibility is keep the intensity up so that the newcomers know practice has to be intense. You don't really get to take a day off when you're in practice, but I think that'll be nice because teams aren't going to really be able to match up with us because we're going to have threats at every position on the floor, so we're going to be a hard team to match.
How different does this feel from your other teams with all the newcomers you have?
We have been super excited about this group of players coming in this year. The freshmen that came in, they are the result of our Elite 8 run. After we came back from the Elite 8, we went out hard that summer and hit the ground running with recruiting. And these are the freshmen that we signed after we won and went to the Elite 8. So this is the payout. And so we've been super excited about getting this group of freshmen on campus because I think it's that next level of freshmen that we need here to continue to grow our program. We've always sprinkled in a few transfers here and there, but it has always been those freshmen, if you think back on our program, who've really kind of held anchor down for us. So we're excited about this group, but it's a different mentality. It takes a little bit more patience as a coach. It takes a little bit more patience from our upperclassmen, and we have to kind of reel them back and say, okay, they're new. They're new. You have to keep reminding them. You have to keep teaching. You have to keep saying those things to them. You can't get quiet. You can't get mad. You've got to work through those processes. But the nice thing about it is these kids are eager. They're ready to learn. They're ready to work hard. I don't have any complaints about their effort, what they're bringing to the court.
How much do you think, Coach, you will change the style a little bit based on who you have now? And I guess the freshmen you have, but they're still young, so how much are you going to change based on them? How are you looking at that?
Right now, I think probably my biggest concern right now is rotations and how those rotations are going to work. And can we put multiple freshmen on the court together and be successful? Because at some point in those rotations, we're going to have maybe 2, maybe 3 freshmen on the court at one time. And so developing that, our upperclassmen who are really depending on with those freshmen and trying to figure out that balance of who's going to be in the game with what rotations and how we can be successful. That's where that inconsistency comes from right now. It's play. And so that's, as a coach, that's the most frustrating. You're trying to figure it out. We've got to get some competition under our belt, and I think it'll take us a couple of games to get where we're comfortable with some of those rotations, and we'll kind of see who rises to the top in those game situations. But we will be a little bit different, but we're still gonna run it hard. We're still gonna play fast. We're gonna play hard. We're still sticking with our man-to-man principles and playing a lot of man-to-man, although we have sprinkled in a little zone. Normally I don't teach zone early in the year, but we did sprinkle it in. I don't like it right now. So I don't know how much we'll kind of stick with it. But I love what we're doing with our man-to-man. I love what we're doing offensively right now. So, but it's a process.
Belle, how's it feel different, the team around you, how's it feel different now that you're a senior on a really pretty young team versus being a junior on a team that had a lot of experience?
It is a lot different. We do have a lot of newcomers, but I feel this year freshmen are really stepping up to the challenge to take that challenge in getting playing time and gelling better together, and I feel very confident this year. We did have a lot of scores last year, but I feel like it'll be more spread this year. I'm really excited to see what the freshmen will do.
How have you seen the program develop? A lot of achievements by your class, yourself, and the players to get the program into a national profile. How has that been for you to see?
It's been a journey for sure. Going to the Elite 8 my sophomore year was amazing. Coming up short last year was really tough, but I'm excited to hopefully go back to the GSE championship this year and hopefully getting back to the Elite 8 again. So I'm excited to see what this year brings.
Coach, it sounds like you got two teams. You go big or you go fast or go small. How does that change your coaching approach to going into the season? You're 3-6-3 guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We're really pushing our big kids to play faster. We certainly don't want to slow the game down when they're in the game. But we know offensively we have to tinker and do a little bit different when we're playing 2 young bigs together because, well, really 3 young bigs. Those 3-6-3 kids are all freshmen coming straight out of high school. So if they are in the game together, you'll see us really consolidate and probably run 1 or 2 different offenses to get them some looks early and see what can come out of it. But I think they're developing great. I like the versatility of our team. I think if we are playing small, we do a little bit different. When we're playing big, it'll be different, but in a more controlled way. But yeah, I think we're not there yet. You know, it's so early that we're not there yet. I don't know how that's going to look. I don't know how those rotations will look. But I think that this team can get to the point where we've got those big lineups. We can go to that later in the season if we need to. We've got some smaller lineups. So if we need a lot of guard play on the floor, that we can do that. Then we've got the balanced lineup where we've got our guard play out there, we've got some bigs in the paint, and we've got some aggressive rebounders. So we've got a lot of things we can shuffle. That's what I was saying with as far as kind of finding and gelling those rotations and getting those in place is going to be key for us coming up in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.